everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. So today we are doing the Maggy 55 Urban Tote. Yay! So I'm so excited to bring this to you today. And so we are going to jump right into it. First of all, welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you are ready to do this sew along. For those who are new to my sew alongs on the channel, you know I do garment sew alongs as well as handbags and wallet sew along. This is actually my only second handbag. I am taking other suggestions for patterns and things of that nature as well. But for those who are new to my sew alongs, what I tend to do in my sew alongs is give as much information and share as much information as I possibly can during my sew alongs. If I miss anything along the way, I'll try to notate it on the screen or I'll mention it somewhere in the video. And I will do at the end of this sew along series, I believe it should only be 3 parts. I will note it on the screen if it happens to be 4, but I'm thinking I should be able to get away with doing this one in 3 parts. I'm really just going to take time and just try to show you as much as I possibly can. I do want to start out by giving Sue Cheek a warm thank you for allowing me to do this sew along. I did communicate with Sue Cheek offline, and she did give me permission to go ahead and do this sew along. Now it is not a paid promotion or anything of that nature. It's just one that I wanted to do because if you follow my channel, you know I've made one already. I made one back in just January of this year, and I'll pop up a picture here. It was one I made for my mother, and obviously that has gone to her, which she absolutely loved. But if you saw that video, and I'll leave a link up above here, I won't go into a deep review on the handbag. I did do that already, but it turned out it was not as hard as I thought. It took me a while to get to the Urban Tote, and I was nervous in the beginning, but no, it is not as bad as it seems. So I thought a sew along would be so much fun to do. And yeah, so let's jump right into it. Let's start with just some basics on the pattern. It is in a finished measurement size. It's 11 by 12 by 4, and so and that's 11 inches in width, 12 by height, and 4 inches by depth. It is labeled as a confident beginner, and so one of the things I do want to talk about, I'll go over first our fabrics, some of the materials and notions and things of that nature in this part, and then I'll also share the cutting out of the different pieces, and then we'll move on to the sewing. And so one of the things I do want to make sure that I mention is the type of machine that I am using. I am using a Janome HD 3000. I did do a separate review on this machine and how I like, well, I just did a demo. I haven't come back in for a full review on it, but I did share me demoing it on different materials. I'll also link that up above, so if you want to check that out, please feel free. The needle I will be using is the denim needle. I believe it's the 99014 denim needle, and then also this is, I know it's black, you can't see it, this is the Gutermann Mara 70 weight. And so, and the reason I use this is because this after, you all know I'm fairly new to handbag making, but I'm not new to sewing. I've sew all my clothes, so it's been a pretty easy, relatively easy transition for me into making handbags and understanding things, catching on a little bit quicker to certain things. But being in several different groups and whatnot, this here was a highly recommended weight. I have tried the bonded 69, and my machine just, not the Janome, because it worked a little bit in the Janome, but when I was at the dealer getting the Janome, I would have to adjust the tension and the bobbin. I would have to adjust something in the bobbin and I didn't want to go through all of that. So the Mara 70 works best for me. So I wanted to get that out of the way, the type of machine, the thread, and the needle that I will be using for this project. So the materials, so this bag can either be made in your faux leather, vinyl, or leather. I am doing a This here is a, let me show it to you. This was a faux leather from Joann Fabrics. And I got this last year in 2019. And I don't know if you can see this roll. I have a ton of this. I think I only paid $12 for all this because it was marked down 70% off. And so yeah, I have a ton of this. So I thought the Urban Tote would be good in this fabric. I initially was going to do the Voyager in this, the Maggy 55 Voyager bag, but decided I wanted to do the Urban Tote in this. So this is the material I will be using. My lining I will be using is, and I got a lighter piece just so you can see it, but it will be in black. This here is a outer text canvas. Hopefully it'll zoom in. As you can see, that texture, that is the right side of it, and then this is the wrong side of it. So I will be using that, and I'll leave a link. I purchased this from Fabric Wholesale Direct. You have to check on their shipping and whatnot right now, but I've had this lining for quite some time, and I'm actually, like I said, going to do this in black. But I wanted to be able to show you this so you can at least see kind of the texture of it. So far as the other materials that you need, it does talk about using, I will be looking down at my notes, using the fusible medium woven interfacing. If you do use that, I have used in the past, if you decide to use it, because she did say you can use regular quilting cotton fabrics to make this bag, but you will need to keep in mind the type of interfacing you need to use. You can use SF 101. I know there's a lot of talk about Barb's bags interfacing, her Woven Fuse 2, the Decaville Light, and the Heavy Decaville, different things of that nature. You can also consider using those as well, and I'll go into what I will be using. Then there's Craft Text. So I will be using the Craft Text as recommended. I will not be using the SF 101 because I'm using that canvas, the outer tech canvas, and I'll be using this faux leather, and I don't need the SF 101 for that. This is Craft Text. It looks like construction paper, like thicker construction paper. I've had this in my stash. I did not purchase this. I'll leave a link to my Amazon store, and I put in my Amazon store, I believe in the handbag tab, a link to this. But you want to you only need 7 inches by 4 inches of this, so if you have some on stock, go ahead and use that. And then she also suggests a bag stiffener to be trimmed down. You only need 11 inches by 4.5 inches. She suggests using Texon or Bontex, and I have Bontex. This is what Bontex is. This is, you can hear that, it's pretty thick and very sturdy. I did use this in my first Urban Tote bag, and so it did make the bottom really sturdy. And so yeah, but again, you're cutting a certain amount. You don't need a heck of a lot. Again, this is linked in my Amazon store, and I would say you'll probably have it for quite some time, because I mean, you get a lot. I can't remember off the top of my head how long this is, but it's super wide, and you do get quite a bit of it. So yeah, so if you do decide to get some of that, there is an option to use the foam or fleece. I will not be doing that, again, because of the materials that I have chosen to use, but you can use foam or fleece. You have a couple different options for closure for the top of the Urban Tote. You have the magnetic snap that you can use, the 18mm, or you can do the number 5 metal or nylon zipper closure. That is the option that I am choosing, and I will show you what I will be using for mine. Now, this I purchased from and I'll tell you if it's otherwise, but mostly all of my materials came from, hardware came from My Handmade Space. So I have this black nickel, hopefully you can see that, zipper tape, zipper by the yard, from my handmade space. And then I also ordered, and this is what the metal zipper end looks like. Again, it's matching. It's the black nickel, so I will be using that for the metal zipper end. For the zipper pull, I had left also from my handmade space one of these, which is so super cute. It's the number 5, because I'm using the number 5 zipper by the yard. It is this very, very super cute zipper pull, which is a handbag. Isn't that cute? So I will be using that with my zipper. I am choosing to add purse feet. And so again, you all know what purse feet look like. I guess I'll have to take this out the package. But it is the same color as well. And you do need rivets, 9 rivets or Chicago screws. And these are all 9mm for me. 9mm by 8mm double cap rivets. And then if you want to do a bag label, you'll also have the option of putting that in. I actually forgot about a bag label for this one, but that's okay. I will put one of my other labels on the inside of the bag, but I'll show you that part when I get to it. And that's pretty much it so far as your materials. You don't need a whole heck of a lot of hardware to get started on this bag. And so let me switch now to show you, or to go through with you, the different notions and tools that you would need. Okay, before we get into the notions and tools and moving forward with the other parts of the sew along, let me first stop and say this. I am so excited to also announce there is a giveaway with this sew along this month. Yay! So what the giveaway is, Sue Cheek has offered for anyone that is looking to have the Urban Tote pattern, she will be gifting that to someone as a prize as part of this giveaway. And so let me just say, the giveaway starts today. It opens today, which is Sunday, April 26th, and it will close on Sunday, May 3rd, and I will announce the winner on Wednesday, May 6th. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed, so just in case you win. But here's the other bonus to it. Obviously, we're going through a situation now in our environment with the virus, and a lot of people are making things that are makers and different things of that nature. So I have decided to gift 2 additional Maggy 55 patterns of your choice. So one person will receive the Urban Tote, and then 2 other people will be selected, and you can choose whatever pattern you would like from Maggy 55 that you don't already have. And so you can choose the Urban Tote, or you can choose a different handbag. But just do know that you have the way to enter the this giveaway is you must say down below a suggestion that you have for the next bag you would like for me to do a sew along for. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna keep it simple. That is pretty much it. And keep in mind, some pattern companies may not allow for sew-alongs and different things of that nature, but you must leave at least one handbag pattern that you would like to see the next sew-along for in the future. And then I will try to get that up, at least depending on which one is mentioned and selected. And after I've reached out to the designer, it'll probably be July before I can actually bring it live here to the channel. So we shall see. It all depends, but we shall see. But anyway, I wanted to share that. Now let's get back to the sew along. For some of the tools that you notions and tools, we've already talked about machine, we've already talked about thread, we've already talked about different things of that nature. So one of the other tips for those who don't know, make sure that you have some wonder clips on hand. I have 2 different type. I have this long pair and the small pair. So for me, I use the longer one if it's a little maybe thicker and I'm holding a couple things. I also tend to use these to hold or clip my my fabric to my pattern pieces. And I also have some of these as well. They're here hair clips. So having something to kind of hold everything together. Obviously for leather and vinyl, faux leather, whatever you use, you don't want to stick pins through it unless you're doing the cotton fabric. Then you're good to go. Make sure that you have your marking tools. I will show you what I'm using as I'm going through everything. You do want to have some fabric glue, a couple different things I have used for making handbags is this leather weld, and this is by I believe I got this through Tandy, but it is in my Amazon store. And then this fabric tack, more than likely this is what I will be using. This comes from Joann Fabrics, and you can also find it on Amazon as well. Cutting out my fabric or my materials, what I tend to do is, for the most part, I will lay the pattern piece down, outline it in a marking tool, either a pen or something like that, and then I'll cut it out instead of laying the pattern piece down like you normally would with garments. It just all depends on what you're comfortable with. I sew all of my clothes, so I either use pins, pattern weights, different things of that nature, but for handbag making, and because I'm using this, I will be laying the pattern pieces down, tracing it, and then cutting it out, just so if there's any shifting, you know, I don't want anything to shift. She also recommends your double-sided tape. I do have that, 1/4 inch wide if you have it, double-sided tape, rivet hole punch and rivet setter. For me, I have a, you all know, if you follow me, you know I have a I have 2 pressing tools. One will set my rivets, the other one will do the hole punch, and so that's what I have. Optional, she has several items here as optional, like a rubber mallet and a poly roller tool. I will not be using those, but that is an option. So far as your presser foot that you want to use, for me, I will be using a walking foot with my Janome HD 3000. You can also use a Teflon foot, is listed in here as a suggestion. And if you are doing leather, she does mention, she has instructions specific to leather in this pattern. So if you are doing this in leather, I would highly suggest you follow her suggestions and everything for her leather, what she suggests for that. And then she also suggests things like edge paint, leather edge paint, and a strap punch. Again, I'm not using that either. And of course your scissors and different things of that nature. The seam allowance for this bag is it will vary between 3/8 to 1/2 inch throughout the entire making of the bag. So you definitely want to keep that in mind as we are going through everything. Now, when you turn to page 5, you will see a cutting chart. Now, what I do for my cutting chart is typically I do little check marks when I had everything cut out. Because I have made this before, I have already cut out all of my pieces. There is nothing additional for me to cut out. Even those that needs to be measured to cut, I've done that already, and I save those pieces with my pattern, so I don't have to recut any of that. So you won't see me do that, but you will see me cut out the actual pattern, the different pieces. I will, you know, show snippets of that. And if you have any particular questions about cutting out some of these pieces, just let me know in the comments, because like I said, it doesn't make sense for me to reprint out everything and tape it all back together. The pattern pieces are pretty self-explanatory. If there are multiple pieces that need to be taped together, her instructions are very clear on which pieces need to be taped together. And what I've done, and you will probably notice when you see that part of the video, is that I have laminated all of my pattern pieces. You can do that many different ways. Some people trace their pattern pieces using the clear cutting mat from like the dollar store or different things of that nature. I used the clear laminate that you can get from Walmart on the roll, and that's what I did. So that's what you will see when we move to that section. There is some pre-work that needs to be done, so I will go ahead and switch my camera view and go ahead and get to that after this. Okay, we are now at the cutting table and we're going to start cutting out our pieces, but I did want to just share with you, I keep all of my notions, the different things I'll need, like my zipper tape and zipper pull and all that stuff, rivets. I keep it in a separate container for my projects, and so that is all set off to the side. Now when you go to your cutting chart, like I said, I've already made this, so I'm just going to show you a couple of the pattern pieces and how they are put together. So for some of the pattern pieces, and I'll zoom out here just a little bit. Okay, for some of the pattern pieces, you'll see that there are multiple pieces that you'll need to tape together. So on each of the pattern pieces, when you do print them out, you will notice that there's a box that this is pattern piece. These pattern pieces are for pattern pieces C. You'll notice in the box it says C1, C2, C3, and C4. That lets you know which pieces need to be taped together to create that one piece. And you'll notice that also on all of the pattern pieces, there's a little box in the corner that says B1, B2 for this particular piece, which will make up the upper front. And so you will have that to go off of. In addition, there are a couple pieces in which it is suggested that you go ahead and punch holes actually in the pattern pieces. And this is for piece A. You will need to go ahead and cut the punch holes into the pattern pieces. And so if you have an awl or if you have a hole punch, you can do that, and you'll be able to see for pattern piece A, which is our back exterior piece, you will see, let me put that down, you will see there are 4 areas here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all rivet holes, and this is the top edge of the pattern piece. You want to go ahead and put holes in your pattern piece, because then you can use your marking tool to mark on the fabric where these will actually go. And I will show you that when we get to it. You also have the upper front piece as well that has rivet holes that you can go ahead and punch those out as well. And then you also have your vinyl strap rivet template. Same thing. There are holes that you can go ahead and mark in the pattern piece, so you have that already together. Now, the 2 pieces that you will need to cut out, what I do like about this pattern, and as a garment maker is really nice, is that there weren't a lot of pattern pieces that I needed to cut out for myself. And there were only 2 pieces that I needed to cut and measure. Well, technically more than that, but I'll get to that in just a moment. You have your craft text pieces that you'll need to cut out. You need 2 pieces of that, which is 7 by 4. That you'll need to cut out, and then you'll also need to cut out your slip pocket trim, which is 12 inches by 1 inches. And so you'll need to cut out these 2 pieces, and because I made this already, I've already cut the pattern piece, so I don't have to recut that again. The other thing that you will need to cut are, if you're doing the vinyl strap option, you need 2 pieces cut at 32.5 inches by 2 inches and 2 pieces at 28.5 by 2 inches. And I cut that out on the actual vinyl. I don't cut out a separate pattern piece for that. And so now what we're going to do is I will show you how I cut out my pattern pieces. I will turn the camera around so you can see that. Okay, I just wanted to show here, this is the Bontex, and it is quite sturdy, but you can also use Decoville Heavy if you can't get a hold of this. But that's what I have, and here's my craft text all cut out. And I had to cut 2 pieces for that and 1 for the Bontex. What's in the pattern is suggesting doing a little prep work on a couple pattern pieces. Let's pull out the back, which is piece A. And so I've already done it. I will walk you through what I did here. So what you want to do is you want to draw a 1-inch line across the top of your pattern piece here. And this is the end where that has the markings. If you remembered, you marked your holes, and then here's your marking for your rivet placement. This will now be identified as the top back piece, and just for demonstration purposes, I just wrote here top back piece. Now I want you to go ahead and don't forget, and also mark your, I want to mention, make sure you mark your center line at the top and your center line at the bottom, and also mark your base placement pieces, which are described here at the bottom of the pattern. Mark that. Also, all on the wrong side of your fabric. And then grab your upper front, and you are going to do the exact same thing. Remember, you had your holes already here. You have your center line marked. Mark the center line according to the pattern. So here's my center line. It's marked. Here are my marks for my rivet placement, rivet hole placement. And then here at the top, again, you want to draw a 1-inch line across the top on the wrong side. And so you will have that piece done. And this is your upper, this will be your top front piece. So make sure that you mark that, and you can also write it on your fabric how I have done here as well. Now grab your front pocket piece. This is your front pocket piece, and what you want to do is mark the center on the wrong side on both the top and bottom according to the pattern. So the pattern center line is here, and you want to go ahead and just mark your center placement on both pieces. Now grab piece D, which is your base piece. Your base piece is a little bit different. You're going to mark 4 areas for your center. You will have, you will mark on the wrong side, on the sides here, and at the top. And so what that will look like, and then you're going to mark a 1/2 inch from the edge, all 4 edges. And so you will see here that you'll see the mark lines here. You have your center marked here on both sides at the top and bottom, and then you have all 4 lines marked 1/2 inch in from all 4 edges. Then grab your piece E, which is your inside facing piece. On piece E, and remember you have 2 pieces here, and I'll just move one out of the way. So again, you want to mark your center line on both pieces. So I've done that. Let me get that in view here. I've done that for both pieces, top and bottom, center line. Then you want to flip this over to the right side. Flip this over to the right side. And I have used the Tandy leather marking pen. And what you want to do is go ahead and mark the zipper placement. The zipper placement is shown here at the bottom of the pattern piece. Put it over, raise it up just slightly, and all I did was just mark it on the right side for both pieces. So now your inside facing pieces are complete. And then again, you want to do the, if I did mention that you want to do the 1 inch across the top as well, and go ahead and write top across those pattern pieces. Now, another thing that you can do in advance, which I have also done, is the zipper overlay. That piece has already been cut out as well, and I already trimmed out the center piece as well for the pattern. Then, last but not least, what I've also done for piece G, which is your lining panel, only one side of the lining panel needs the zipper part cut out. So go ahead and cut your zipper part out for your one pattern piece, because that is where your overlay eventually is going to go, and it should fit very nicely over the top. Let me make sure that you can see that. It will fit very nicely right over the top. So go ahead and make sure one of your lining main panel pieces has the zipper piece cut out. Only one piece at this time. So there you go. That is it. We are going to move on to sewing the bag. That will end part 1 of this video, and we will see you in part 2.